To kind of round off this chat about curriculum, Phil, I'd really love to bring you in and just talk a little bit about, for me, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of similarity between this idea of curriculum and the intent within the new EIF. And I wonder whether, with this increased focus perhaps on curriculum in the early years, whether you're expecting to see a little bit more of this when your inspectors go into the setting, to understand the kind of intent and perhaps the curriculum behind the way in which the way in which early years leaders and practitioners are working with their children.
Well, it comes back to sort of what we see, rather comes back to some of the data stuff, is what we're interested in is having a conversation about what people have decided those children in this setting need to learn and the sequence that they need to learn it in. You know, they're making sure that you can run before you can, making sure you don't run before you can walk. You know, that whole thinking it through and plotting it out. And there, you know, there's lots of stuff in our handbook about that idea of intent and where you want your children to get. And when we talk about intent, it's not simply about having sort of high-blown ideas that we'd like them, you know, sort of theoretically to be somewhere by a point. Where actually that intent is we're thinking about quite a clear pathway. You know, we sort of one of the examples we've used when we talk about intent is that some 18-year-olds might have the idea that they're going to go have a gap year. That might be their plan before they start work or go to university, is to have a gap year. And it might be a very loose plan. You might say that that was a dream or a vision. Whereas if it was an intent, they would have an itinerary. They'd know which countries they were visiting. They'd have some hotel rooms booked. They'd have some jobs worked out. They'd have enough money to get them at least halfway round. You know, it would be a very, very clear, well thought through plan, which they haven't yet embarked upon. And when we talk about the curriculum, that's what we're thinking about with intent. We're thinking about that plan that people have got in their minds about where they want their children to get there and how they're going to get there. I mean, everybody, obviously this is grounded in the EYFS and in the learning and development parts of the foundation stage document, but that is very much the sort of the bare bones of what any curriculum should be. And what we then anticipate is that settings will, you know, build that up. They'll put the meat on those bones to make sure that they're delivering what is required out of the EYFS, but then they're going beyond that to make sure that their children in their setting are getting what they need to get them to those places that people want them to get to.